A very good morning to all. Today, we are moving on to the third chapter, and the name of the chapter is Plants and Their Food. So when we look around, we can see different types of plants around us. So what comes to your mind when you think of plants? They are living things. Then, they have a very unique feature. You know what? They are the only living thing that makes food by themselves. And all other living things depend on plants for their food. So today, we are going to start with the chapter Plants and Their Food. So, do you all know the different parts of a plant? So, which are the different parts of a plant? Root, stem, leaves, flower, fruits. Right. So, these are the different parts of a plant. So, the first one, that is roots. So, the roots are below the soil. And what is the function of roots? So, they hold the plant firmly to the soil. Right. Then, it carries water and nutrients for the plants. Then comes the stem. It grows below or above the soil. It grows above the soil. Right. It bears branches. It has flowers, fruits, etc. Then we have the most beautiful part, and that is the flower. The most beautiful part of a plant is the flower. So we can see plants with different flowers. There are flowers with different colors, shapes and size. Then we have the leaves. Then the other part is the leaves. Then fruits. The tastiest part of a plant is the fruit. So inside the fruit, what can we see? Seeds, right? Seeds hide inside the fruit. There are fruits with one seed, and even there are fruits with many seeds. And these seeds give rise to a new plant. So these are the different parts of a plant. So which are the different parts of a plant? Root, stem, leaves, flowers and fruits. So now, what about types of leaves? So we can see different kinds of plants around us. And if you closely observe the leaves of these plants, do all these leaves look similar? No, right? For example, let's take the leaf of a banana and a papaya leaf. Just closely observe it. Does it look similar? No. It differs in its shape, size, etc. So, leaves differs in its size, shape, color, etc. So, we can identify a plant by its leaves. So, there are different types of leaves. So, different plants have different types of leaves. Now, let's see what makes leaves green. So, again, if you just look around, you can see most plants have green leaves. So, how does this happen? What makes the leaves green? That is because the leaves contain a substance. It contains a pigment that is called as the chlorophyll. And the chlorophyll makes the leaves of the plant appear green. So what is that pigment called? The pigment is called the chlorophyll. So the chlorophyll makes the leaves appear green. And there are plants like crotons. So the leaves of these plants appear in different colors like yellow, red, etc. So, do they have chlorophyll? Yes. Even the leaves of these plants have chlorophyll. But the pigment is hidden by other colors. The pigment is hidden by other colors like yellow or red. But these leaves too have chlorophyll. So, the pigment that is present in the leaf of a plant, what do we call? We call it as the chlorophyll. So, what makes the leaves green? That is because the presence of chlorophyll. The green pigment that is present in the leaves that makes the leaves appear green. And where do these plants make their food? They make their food in their leaves. And they prepare the food with the help of chlorophyll. Understood? So what makes leaves green? That is because the green pigment that is present in the leaves. That makes the leaves appear green. Now let's see, what does a plant need to make food? So plant is a living thing. It needs air, water and food to live. And we discussed that plant is the only living thing that make food by itself. So how do they make food? What all things do they need? They need water, they need sunlight, they need carbon dioxide. So they need all these things in order to make food. And that process of making food by using these things, we call it as photosynthesis. So have you all heard this term, photosynthesis? So what is photosynthesis? It is a process by which plants make their food by using water and carbon dioxide in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll. That process, we call it as photosynthesis. So the food that is prepared by the leaves, we call it as glucose, and that is a kind of sugar. So all food that is prepared by the plants are not used by them. So what about the leftover food? So the leftover from the making of plant food is another gas, and that is oxygen, and it is released from the leaves into the air. So plants do not use all food prepared by them. So what about the leftover? So the leftover of the plant food is another gas, that is oxygen, and it is released from the leaves into the air. So what all things do plants need in order to make food? They need water, they need air, they need sunlight and chlorophyll. And what is that process called? The process is called as photosynthesis. So what is photosynthesis? It is a process by which plants make food using air, water in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll, and that process we call it as photosynthesis. So where do plants prepare their food? They prepare their food in their leaves. And that process of preparing food by using water, air and in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll, we call it as photosynthesis. So in this class, what did we learn? We learnt about the different parts of a plant. So which are the different parts of a plant? Root, stem, leaves, flowers and fruits. Then we learnt that there are different types of leaves. Leaves differ in their size, shapes and color. Then we learnt what makes a leaf green. That is because of the pigment called chlorophyll. Then we learned what does a plant need to make food. What all things does it need? It needs air, it needs water, it needs sunlight and chlorophyll. And that process of making food, what do we call? Photosynthesis. So I hope the class was clear to you. You can just go through the textbook and read the topics that we have covered. So we'll meet in the next class. Till then, thank you.